What's up everybody, Greg here with Lensprotogo and Lens Rentals, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to be answering all of your questions that you submitted either through Instagram or on YouTube about the Red Ranger with the MONSTRO VistaVision 8K sensor in it. If I don't answer your question in this video, make sure to leave those in the comments or check out the other videos that we did, which will also be in the description and at the end of this video. Now, I've been stuck in the office all morning and it just stopped raining outside, so I'm going to go walk around, get some fresh air, and answer some of these questions for you. Alright, so starting with the number one question that I get all the time is, why is this camera only for rental houses? Now, there's a couple reasons. One is that it's super expensive, so not many private people would be able to purchase one of these, and I'll talk about the price in a minute. The other reason is that it's really designed for rental houses. It's in a really durable body, it's in a unified body, so there's no more modular systems with lots of pieces to track, as well as for maintenance and upkeep and everything like that. It just really makes sense for a rental house design. If you really wanted to buy a Ranger, the closest thing that you could get would be the DSMC2 body with the MONSTRO VistaVision 8K sensor, and you can get the production kit, which basically gives you the same I/O ports and build outs as the Red Ranger. The next question that I get asked all the time is, how much does this camera cost? Like I just mentioned, you can't actually go out and purchase this. It's only for rental houses, but it's about $80,000. The closest thing you can buy as a consumer would be the DSMC2 body with the MONSTRO sensor and the production kit, which is gonna get you really, really close to what this Ranger is, and that's gonna run you about $74,000 in total. Question number 3, can this lens mount be swapped from a PL to an EF? Sadly, this camera can only be used with a shimmed PL mount, so you can't swap it to EF, B4, Nikon mounts, anything except for a shimmed PL mount. Question number 4, what is the antenna for that's right above the assistant camera interface on the right side of the camera? That is for transmitting the Wi-Fi signal, so you can connect to the camera using the RCP or Red Command protocol to be able to remotely control the camera from something like Full Control or an app on your phone. Question number 5, which sensor is bigger, the ARRI65 or the Red MONSTRO VistaVision? Now, the ARRI65 is quite a bit bigger. It's got about a 59mm diagonal, where the Red MONSTRO only has about a 46mm diagonal. So the ARRI65 is bigger in both height and width of the sensors. On to a new spot. The next question is, how heavy is the Ranger compared to the DSMC2 body? Well, the Ranger, with everything included, you got your I/O, your battery plate, your ACI, and your lens mount, is about 7.5 pounds. If you look at the DSMC2 body only is only about 3 1/3 pounds. Once you add in all of your modules like your SDIs, your battery plate, and your lens mount, you're looking closer to like 5.5 pounds. So there's a 2-pound difference once it's fully built out between the DSMC2 and the Ranger. Question number 8, is the Ranger compatible with any of the DSMC2 accessories? For the most part, not really. It doesn't have all of the ports and the modularity that you get with the DSMC2 body. So you can't put a side handle on it, you can't add different IOs. What you get with the Ranger is what you get. The really nice thing though is that you can use the quick mount monitors, you can use the LEMO pin adapters basically for the monitor relocating, and you can use the top handle trigger. But those are basically the only accessories from the DSMC2 bodies that you can bring over into the Ranger. Number 9, what is the purpose and value of the Red Ranger in the industry? Well, for the most part, it's for larger productions. People in a studio environment where you have a team of camera crew, you have your DP, your op, your first AC, a lot of people around the camera. Because it's a bigger form factor, you have a lot more mounting options, you have a lot more places for accessories, for doing bigger and larger build outs, adding in your wireless follow focus, your extra controls, all of that kind of stuff. Really leaning towards and designed for the productions that have a full camera team. How are the DSMC2 MONSTRO and Red Ranger different? Now, the really big difference is kind of what I've been covering, is the body design. So having a unified body and not using the modular system. As far as internals, they're exactly the same. You're gonna get the same performance out of both of them. One of the big things that the Ranger has that the DSMC2 body doesn't have, because of the form factor, it can have a larger fan, which really helps with thermal management and keeping the camera cool and quiet while you're shooting. There's vents on the bottom of it as well as on the top, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Next, is the image quality any different between the DSMC2 MONSTRO and the Ranger? Not at all, they're exactly the same. It uses the same sensor and same processing power, so you're gonna get the same color, the same resolution, all of the same qualities you're gonna get between the DSMC2 MONSTRO and the Ranger. The next question is, what are the advantages over other RED models? Now, I've kind of answered these in some of the past questions, but the really big advantage is having that unified body. It adds a little bit more reliability because you're not worrying about all these different contact points that could be failures on the DSM-C2 body, and you get a ton of extra accessory ports for monitoring, powering accessories, and all of that. Next question is the difference between the MONSTRO 8K and the HELIUM 8K. Well, the HELIUM 8K is only a Super 35 sensor, where the MONSTRO is a VistaVision. So this means that they have a different size, different dimensions, and the MONSTRO, the VistaVision, is about 46 millimeters diagonally, where the HELIUM is only about 33 millimeters diagonally. On to question 13, how versatile is the camera from run and gun situations to post-processing? So I'm gonna answer that second part first. The post-processing is very similar to RED's workflow on their other cameras using their RED code and their .r3d files. Dealing with 8K footage, on the other hand, is going to be a lot more complicated on your computer, a lot more hard-working, so you really need to have a beefed-up machine to work with that unless you're going to make proxies on top of it. Now for the first part, the run and gun, it really is designed to be a team camera. Having the ACI on the side and having all of those extra IOs is not really designed for that run and gun style. You can't add the DSM-C2 side grip, which you can on the other bodies, and it's just not designed for that type of workflow. On the other hand, the DSM-C2 is a little more modular. You can get it into more compact size, and you get those extra accessories like the side grip and the top handle and stuff like that to build it out to be a really nice run and gun shooting package. I'm gonna wrap these last two questions up really quick. The first one is, does it have autofocus or is it totally manual? Being a shimmed PL mount, it is only going to use PL lenses, and as far as I know, there's no autofocus PL lenses and there's no contact on this lens, so you're not going to have any autofocus with this camera. The last question, how does it actually stay cooler with the new fan and thermal management? Now, having a larger fan, it can move the air through the camera a lot quicker and a lot more efficiently, so it doesn't have to work so hard, which allows the camera to be quieter, and it also cools the camera off faster. There's also a lot of ventilation on the bottom of the camera, which helps move that air through it and keep the camera at a good temperature. So that's gonna wrap it up for this one. Again, if you didn't get your questions answered in this video, definitely make sure to leave them in the comments below. I'm gonna be getting back to them as soon as I can. Also check out the other videos we did covering the exterior and some sample footage with that camera that are gonna be all around me, as well as linked in the description down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe for new videos every single week, and I'll see you in the next one.